Alright, what is up everybody and welcome back to Altknots. Welcome to another day here in the Yarn Dungeon where we are talking all about Friday the 13th. So me personally, I love Friday the 13th. I love the entire series. I love everything about it. I love even like the superstitions that come into a Friday the 13th. I don't know, I'm just like obsessed with Friday the 13th. So I knew that I had to make a cardigan to go along with it because obviously all Friday I'm just gonna be watching the entire series like start to finish all day. That's all I'm gonna do. Watch that, crochet, and have coffee. Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I needed to go ahead and make up a new cardigan. And basically, I say cardigan very loosely because this is essentially a wearable blanket. I mean, it's just, there's nothing form-fitting about this, and that's perfect because that's exactly what I had in mind. I wanted to be able to like throw on some leggings, throw on a tee, and then put this on and then just park it on the couch all day. And that way I have a blanket when I'm like walking around, getting my snacks, getting my coffee. Obviously I'm gonna need to be caffeinated for the entire time because I'm gonna crochet as well too. Anyways, the yarn that I decided to use is Premier Basics because it's a really durable yarn. Like this stuff, it just wears well, it's super soft, and you can throw it in the washer, which is perfect because I mean it's essentially a blanket. So I felt like I knew I was gonna wash this quite often, so that's why I went with this. Also, it's really beginner friendly because of the fact that it's like, it's a worsted weight, it feels nice, it doesn't split, it's just like, it's designed for beginners in mind. The fact that this is an incredibly easy pattern, pair that with a really easy to use yarn, and you have like the world's quickest crochet cardigan ever. And then I was super extra and I had to go ahead and make some matching socks to go along with it because I want to be super comfy when I'm watching all these movies. So, you know, I just had to do a pair of socks. There's already a pattern for this. I just busted out my Addy machine. I'll link it up above if you want to go ahead and make a matching set of socks too. Alright, but that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some caffeine, get all my materials ready together. You do the same, definitely on the caffeine part, and let's make this amazing, snuggly Friday the 13th inspired crochet cardigan. So here is the full list of all the materials that you're gonna need in order to create this project, as well as down below in the description box, you're gonna find the patches, and they're gonna have a link right underneath it directly to the shop that the patch came from. And then here are all the measurements that you're gonna need to take as well in order to create each part for the cardigan. Starting with the back panel, I'm gonna grab my 5.5mm crochet hook here, a little bit of color A, and also my tape measure. Go ahead and you can lay your tape measure out. We're gonna work with the width of the back panel here. So attaching the yarn onto your hook, then start to chain chains and keep on chaining chains until you reach the width that you measured for your back panel. And that's why you need your tape measure here to go ahead and measure as you go along. Once you have all your chains created, we're gonna go ahead and turn this on the back because we're gonna be working into the back bump. So that little bump right there, we're gonna insert our hook, and it's always the hardest in that first one. Insert your hook, yarn over, and do a single crochet. So we're gonna do that all the way across here, is doing one single crochet in each back bump all the way across. For row number 2, chain 2 and turn your project. Then in the very first stitch, we're gonna do a double crochet. Then skip the next 2 stitches and 3 double crochet all into that very next stitch. So we're gonna follow all the way across. We're gonna skip these next 2, then 3 double crochet in that following stitch all the way across until we get to the very last stitch. And in the last stitch, work one last double crochet. And the reason we go ahead and do a double crochet in the beginning and the end is so that the project stays nice and straight. So for row number 3, go ahead and chain 2, turn your project. Then once again in this first stitch, we're gonna do a double crochet, keeping that edge nice and straight. Then chain 1. And in this chain space that we've created down below, we're gonna do 3 double crochet inside that chain space. And that's what you'll repeat all the way across. So continue to do chain 1 and then 3 double crochet in this chain space down below. Then in the last stitch, go ahead and do one last double crochet. Then for rows 4 through 5, we're gonna go ahead and repeat everything we just did for row number 3. So we're gonna double crochet in that first stitch, chain 1, and 3 double crochet in that chain space that was created down below. Once you come up to the very last double crochet for row number 5, we're going to go ahead and switch to the next color here. So start off your double crochet like normal, do yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and once you get here, you're going to hold that yarn over because we're going to switch colors. So grabbing the new color of yarn, lay it over the top, yarn over, and finish out that double crochet. Now is when you're going to go ahead and cut this yarn, the working yarn of the previous color, color A, and go ahead and tie these 2 together. Now for rows 6 through 10, once again, we're going to go ahead and repeat everything we did for row number 3. So just keep on working that pattern there, creating the really cool square effect here. And then you're going to go ahead and keep on doing that until you've reached the length that you went ahead and measured for the back panel. So every 5 rows, you're going to go ahead and switch between color A and color B. Keep on doing that until you get all the way to the length that you measured for your back panel. So keep on creating until you have something that kind of looks like this for your back panel, just a really, really big section here. Then for the front 2 panels, you go ahead and follow the same exact pattern that we created for the back panel, only changing the measurements that you use for the front panel instead of the back panel, so you should have 2 of these. Then also for the sleeves, because we're going to go ahead and crochet flat, not in the round, just so we have the nice same pattern that's going to go ahead and match the front panel and the back panel. Then we're going to have to fold these over with direction, grab a yarn needle, a little bit of yarn, and we're going to mattress stitch the sides together. So once again, lining up both of the edges here together, you're going to grab a yarn needle, cut a little strand of yarn here, and I went ahead and used color A, attach it onto the yarn needle. Then on one of the corners here, you're going to go ahead and insert the yarn needle and attach the yarn onto your sleeve here. And if you want a full breakdown of how to actually mattress stitch, I do actually have a video here where I do slow motion, so I'll go ahead and link that up above. But just go ahead and work the mattress stitch all the way down in order to close up the sleeves of your cardigan. Okay, so I wanted to show you the entire construction of this, but it was so ginormous that it did not fit on my crafting table. So here is how it is. Basically, we have the back panel right here and the front 2 panels laying on top of that, and then the sleeves on either side. And for the sleeves, I went ahead and alternated for the actual color there. So the top of the shoulders stopped with black, and then for the sleeves I started with red. But obviously you can go ahead and do however you want it for the colors there. But now I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this entire thing together. So starting at the top there, I'm gonna mattress stitch on the top together. Then I'm gonna actually attach the sleeves. So I'm gonna start at the top once again, work my way down, then work on the back side of the sleeves. So this whole thing attaches just like that. Then go ahead and run all the way down. So that whole side will be done. Then I'll do the exact same thing on the other side with the sleeves. Then we'll work into the ribbing. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the ribbing that is on the inside of the cardigan, the bottom portion of the cardigan, and around the sleeve here. So for the sleeve, we're gonna crochet in the round, which means you're gonna have to grab yourself a stitch marker here. I love the ones that have the little lobster clasp on it, so you can just like clasp it right over the yarn, much easier. Once again, you'll be using color A, but this is just a lot easier to see. So attach this onto any portion of the actual sleeve. Do a little slip stitch there, then chain 1. Now in the first stitch, we're gonna do 1 single crochet. Then in the next 2, we're gonna do a single crochet decrease. So we're gonna insert our hook, pull through a loop, and the next one we'll do the same thing, insert our hook, pull up a loop. We'll have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull it all the way through, and that's a single crochet decrease. So we're going to do this all the way around. We're going to do 1 single crochet followed up with 1 single crochet decrease. Once you've made it all the way around, go ahead and grab your stitch marker because we're going to need it for the first stitch, and we're going to start off by doing a front post single crochet. So in this first one, insert your hook right behind it, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over, and finish off that single crochet. Then place your stitch marker in that very first one so you know where to start and stop your row. Next, we're going to work in the back post single crochet. So starting from behind the stitch, we're going to go behind in front and then pull through that loop and finish off that single crochet. So now we have one that's forward, and then we have the other one that's pushed backwards. Now we're just going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around, alternating between a front post single crochet and a back post single crochet all the way around. So for rows 3 through 5, go ahead and just repeat everything we did in row number 2 in order to build up the rest of your ribbing for your sleeve. Then the ribbing that goes on the inside and also the bottom portion of the cardigan is just worked side to side, obviously not in the round, so you don't need the stitch marker. So we will still follow the exact same pattern that we did, where we do a single crochet all the way across. Then for row number 2, we'll chain 1 and turn our project. Then just jump right into that second row where we do an alternation between a front post and a back post single crochet all the way across. And once again, we're going to work that for rows 3 through 5 to build up the edging on the bottom portion and also on the inside. Next, we're going to work on the pockets here, and this is the patch that one of the pockets is going to get. So go ahead and grab that, and also grab a tape measure. So since everybody likes their pockets of different sizes, I just like to go ahead and kind of measure out, see what the front panel ended up being and how big I actually want my pockets. So I think for this one, I'm thinking 7 inches is going to be perfect for this. It's going to give it a nice border around this patch here. So once again, I'm going to grab some yarn. Then I'm just going to start to chain here until I have 7 inches worth of chains. All right, that seems pretty much good. Then I'm going to flip this over, and working into the back bump, I'm going to do a single crochet inside each back bump. For row number 2, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my project. Then I'm just going to do a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So in order to build up my pocket, I'm going to work rows 3 through 15, and I'm just going to repeat everything I did for row number 2. So I'm just going to chain 1, turn my project, and single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Then I'm going to go ahead and repeat this whole process one more time, so I have 2 pockets, one for each front panel. In order to attach this giant back patch to the back portion of the cardigan, I went ahead and grabbed my cutting mat here and my rotary knife with the perforated edge right there. You can kind of see that. And I'm just going to use my ruler right here and just go around the edge here, making little holes around the edge so I can actually crochet into the patch. So that's it. That's all there is in order to make this pattern. Like I said, quick, easy, super fast, and beginner friendly. So let me know in the comments down below, are you planning on making one of these, whipping it up real quick so you too can have a giant snuggly cardigan that is essentially a giant blanket in order to go ahead and roll through and have your own horror movie marathon. But that is it. That is all I have for you guys today. So thank you once again for hanging out here in the Yarn Dungeon. Have a fantastically spooky day, and I will see you in my next video.